What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Living Freed channel. My name is Tyler Freed, and in today's video I'm riding with Pedro, and we are headed into Chicago right now. Once we get to Chicago, I don't really know what we're going to be doing after that, but we're about 50 miles from Chicago, so I figured we'd make a video and do a little update on how his training is going and give it to you, give you his perspective basically on how his training is going, what he's learned so far being a truck driver, and what he's learned about trucking thus far. He's only been driving 2 weeks, like I said, so still very new, but has gotten better and better with each and every day. So yeah, so pretty much this is Pedro. If you're new to the channel, he's my new student. He's my second student ever since I started training, and it's been going really well. That's my perspective on it. Personally, I think he's getting better and better at backing, better and better at handling the truck, just overall, right? Understanding the way you're supposed to maneuver and everything in certain situations. He's driven in a lot of snow and rain, and yeah, had some mountain driving experience. So it's been really good overall, and that's pretty much it. So tell me what you think about trucking, like the lifestyle of it, and then we can get a little bit into like how you think you've progressed so far.
I think the lifestyle is it's unique. You know, you really got to be committed to your job.
Right.
It is rewarding. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the scene. I'm enjoying the drive. I'm enjoying the cities. You kind of learn habits while you're at it, driving such a big truck and trailer, and with it, everything comes second nature. Like, I feel more comfortable driving, maneuvering, and I don't know what else to say other than, adjusting to how other people react around the truck with regular people.
Yeah. So do you feel more confident with backing after 2 weeks?
Yes. So we've done a bunch of alley docks.
Right.
Some of them tighter than others, but not as tight as a 90-degree alley dock that you will get tested in your CDL. But for the most part, like a 45-degree. Adjusting to the way I was taught during training and in school, and adjusting to the way that you're showing me.
Right.
I'm kind of getting a better feel of it, and kind of seeing exactly your perspective and my old instructor's perspective. Right. On like depth perception, where the pivot point is in the rear tandems, and so on forward.
Yeah.
That's another thing I want to bring up. I do wear glasses, so for the most part, people will have trouble starting out with depth perception. You won't know exactly where the very back of the trailer is, but you will grow to know it. It's like a second name, like a habit that just grows into you. Like, last time we did it was last night. I had an alley back 3 times.
Right.
And it became easier because now I know the length of the truck. Now I got the depth perception of it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where, probably what the main reason of training is, to train you to get used to the length of the truck, the turn radius, and so on and forth. And I'm comfortable with it. I think it's all going well.
And it makes sense, right? Like the trailer doesn't turn at the back of the trailer; it turns at the tandems, right, where the wheels are. The wheels is what's turning the trailer and pivoting the trailer. And so that's really hard for newer drivers to understand when they're backing. Is the tires is where the trailer turns, and let's say your wheels are slid all the way up, you have more swing space in the back with the back of the trailer, right? Because the trailer is actually pivoting on the trailer tires, not the back of the trailer. Well, if the tandems are slid all the way back, then it's a little bit easier to pivot the trailer and turn it into a spot because there's less swing space in the back. So you kind of understand that now, right? Yeah, that's like really hard to understand for newer drivers when they're learning how to back. But we were able to work on it and everything, and he's getting better and better at it. So like backing is just simply, you have to do it. You can be told what to do, but you're not going to really get good at it until you do it thousands of
methods, like always slip back and always slip forward, you kind of start learning like different pivot points, and you start learning the truck how it maneuvers differently.
Right.
Like you said, muscle memory.
Yep.
But at first, yeah, I found it a little bit confusing with the tandems always slip back because it's not the way I train
Yeah.
at the school. And I learned from him that hey, you can cut it more, but in turn, you need more room for that. And usually places that need the tandem slip all the way back have a lot more headroom to practice and stuff.
Right. Yeah, because when you're in school, they're teaching you how to do the maneuvers to actually pass the test, the CDL test. Those maneuvers that you use to pass your test are not really real-world backing experiences. When you're in the real world and you're going to all these different shippers and receivers, every backing situation is totally different. Just like driving in a different state is totally different. Driving in Illinois is way different than driving in West Virginia, for example. Backing is the same thing. So, trucking is situational. No day is going to be the same. No backing situation is going to be the same. And that's really where the training with the trainer comes in, and just experience comes in. You're not going to really become a good, efficient truck driver until after about 6 months to a year, because you have to be in all the different situations that trucking has, right, with doing the job. So, and that you're kind of getting that, right? Like your test, totally different than what we're going to do today.
Oh yeah, everything that they made you practice during school, you could just wipe that all away. I mean, you could use the references to start you out to kind of build your own style.
Yeah.
But all in all, you're right. Everything you're trained at school very rarely applies to the real world. It's night and day difference.
Right. And now, since we're talking about your training and everything, what do you think of Millis still after 2 weeks, and Heartland Express too, because the companies are merged? And I know you've been dealing with a little bit of a situation, but as far as like the actual company, not one department that you're dealing with,
Right.
but the actual company overall, Heartland, Millis, do you think it's a good company to start with? Honestly,
I'd
be honest. Yeah.
They are a great company. I mean, guys, if you're starting out, Heartland and Millis, it's worth it. It's worth it. They treat their employers, their drivers, like with respect. They bend over backwards for one. The trucks are way better, cleaner, up to date. Mind you, they are a bigger company, so the terminals are amazing. Like the showers are awesome. Like just the rest areas are awesome. Like if you get to Heartland or Millis terminal, some of them look nicer than most malls that we've driven past. Like
There's some nice terminals.
There's some nice terminals. So I mean, yeah, they're great. They're a great company, but my situation is a little different.
So tell them what happened. You might as well tell them the situation, because we want transparency, right? I'm going to be talking about Millis and Heartland more and more, but you don't have to go there. I'm not trying to influence your decision on going there if you're looking at getting into trucking. I'm just giving you information about the company, and I'm going to let other people give you information. That way we have different viewpoints, right? And you can make a decision. So tell them a little bit about what's happened, honestly.
All right. Well, just full header. Like Millis is a great company. I don't think differently of Millis or Heartland. It's just the department, pretty much the schooling section of it.
Okay.
That I'm having trouble dealing with.
Right.
When I went ahead and called Heartland to apply,
Right.
because I saw they offer training, whatever. They reached out to me back, and I spoke to them, and they said, oh, well, we don't do training in Heartland per se. You would have to go through our partner company, Millis. I was like, all right, cool. That's no big deal for me, All right, so I spoke to recruiters there. I was a little concerned at first about being out of Florida, and they test in different states, and obviously everybody wants to know, can you really test for a CDL in different states? Right. They told me yes, sure. Obviously their instructors have been doing it for a while for Millis, and MTI, that's what they do. Cool. that being said, you know, the schools are getting booked up really fast, and there was an opening in Texas, and the catch was Texas started Monday, and it was already the Friday. I was on the phone with the recruiter, so I was like, all right, well, if I make it there on the weekend, will you get me in? And they're like, yeah, of course. Can you make it on the weekend? By Sunday evening, I was in my hotel, right down the road from the school, ready for Monday morning.
Yeah.
And I went through the process and everything, and so the experience was great, everything's going great, but I still had that little doubt in my head where I don't want to be annoying, but I want to ask again. So I asked my instructor, hey, are we going to be able to test? There's not going to be an issue for me testing being out of Florida, right? Because we're doing the testing here in Texas on site.
Right.
Exact words were, you should be fine. You'll be okay. We have examiners do everything, they're third-party examiners and so forth, blah, blah, blah. All right, cool. Along the way, you know, I had a question about something, maybe the third week in or something like that, or second weekend while we're reviewing some chapters. And, you know, I asked again, and it had a lot of relation with me testing out of state. I think it was a matter that they changed the laws where you can't have CDLs from different states. It's illegal to have a license from different states in your pocket.
Okay.
So, you know, if you're from Florida, you have a CDL license for Florida, and license you can only have one state.
Right.
If you get caught with a driver's license from a different state, and you're from Florida, it's illegal. You get booked for that. So,
Right.
I think I asked them something about that. They reassured me again. Oh, you'll be fine. Cool.
Yeah.
Jumping forward, the examiner came in. Super nice woman. Very sharp. You know, all of us are getting ready. We had a lot of practice. You know, I had everything stored in my mind. You know, reference points. You know, where to cut and turn in this, you know, in the practice area.
Yeah.
We'll be examining, and especially using the trucks. So I'm used to it. Everybody's conditioned for this exam on site. She's there, she's scheduling on that Friday, and I was in the middle of orientation, meaning like I was done for the week. We're done for all the classroom training, and we're ready to do the CDL.
Right.
I asked again, I'm not going to have any issues because I'm out of state. And it kind of didn't cross her mind.
Yeah.
So she says, I have to ask. Moments later, she came back and said she couldn't.
Oh, wow.
I was pissed.
Yeah.
I was mad.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like, I just wasted my time. Mind you, I was already set up with a trainer in Texas, so I had paid to cancel my plane ticket back to Florida.
Right.
Now, on top of that, unfortunately, that trainer I was going to get with got rear-ended the week prior.
Yeah.
His truck was down, and now I was stuck in Burleson. No plane ticket.
Right.
You know, it's my money's going into my bills and whatnot while I'm away, but it's not a lot of money. They do give you an allowance a weekly, like we spoke in the previous video.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, all right, well, if I have to book a flight back home, it's going to be real tight, but I'm in a situation. Then, as I'm sitting there in orientation, I get a call from, Millis, the head person, and they're like, your trainer's there. I got you a new trainer. He's there right now. Can you leave right now? I was like, I'm in the middle of orientation.
He's in the middle of orientation.
And he kind of threw me at Tyler last second. And he called me also last second, kind of bothered, because he told me that he wasn't planning, he had requested not to have any students until he gets back from, his personal time off and stuff like that, And I felt kind of bad because I was thrown at him, and I'm like, man, I start feeling like kind of an inconvenience to my trainer here, but at the same time, I feel like, crap, why am I going through this? Now I'm on the road. I haven't taken my CDL yet. I had a schedule in Georgia. And, speaking with these people, the trouble that I'm going through and everything, it's not my fault. Everybody should have been informed about it a little bit better. And, I kind of asked.
Well, they pretty much dropped the ball on it.
Yeah. So I kind of asked, well, after I finish my CDL, I have to go to Florida to put it on my driver's license.
Right.
Are they willing to pay for rental car or a flight back there.
Right.
No, they would not do that. Maybe if I'm there in person, face to face, once I get to Georgia, they might change their mind. But the way they threw it at me, it's kind of like, all right, well, I feel like I'm gonna be sitting on the curb.
Yeah. See, and they'll take care of you. Like I've been saying, like when I got him, they were like, okay, if you're going to be coming home in 3 weeks or whatever, well, can you run him 3 weeks and drop him by one of our other terminals, and we'll put him with a different trainer. So that's what we're going to be doing. He'll be taking his CDL test in Cartersville, Georgia, because he couldn't take it in Texas because that examiner wasn't certified to test people from out of state. And so in Cartersville, they have an examiner that can test in every state. So it's just somebody dropped the ball and didn't know basically that the examiner in Texas couldn't test him from out of state, right? And that's what happened.
Yeah.
And then, but he's going to be riding with me until he takes his test. And then after he takes his test, he's going to be getting on a truck with a different trainer to finish his miles. Like at Millis, when you get on a truck with a trainer, you have to complete 15,000 miles before you get put in your own truck and you're on your own, right? So by that time, he's only going to have like 2 weeks left worth of miles to do with the other trainer, and he will pass his test the first time. It's just, the problem is he lives in Florida, and like OTR companies don't really go down to Florida a whole lot, so that's been kind of your problem, right? But they're going to make it work. He's going to be switching over from Millis to Heartland anyway, because Heartland does go to Florida a little bit more than Millis. And yeah, so I think they're going to make it work, man. They're going to make it up to you once you talk to them face to face and everything and tell them what happened.
Yeah. I mean, I will express my concern, but you know, Murphy's Law, man. If it could go bad, it could go
Right.
worse.
Like as of right now, he's like, dude, I don't know, man. I don't
Everything's
trust
up in the
anything.
sky, man. Everything's up in the sky, and you know they gotta own up to it, dude. Honestly.
Yeah, they do, and they will. Okay, and if they don't, then I would lose a lot of respect for Millis, to be honest with you. This company has never lied to me about anything. All their policies that they have, they stick to them, and I believe that they're going to help them out and make it work out for them. So that's my personal belief. I could be proven wrong. I hope I'm not. So,
But like I said, I'm only upset with the department.
yeah.
MTI themselves.
Right.
We're dropping the ball.
Right. But yeah, like we're getting the miles. We're getting great miles. We're getting what?
Millis, in general, is great.
Yeah.
Great. I love the incentives. I love the rate. They're great. They pay on time. They're on. You don't have to worry about your paychecks being short. You know, because I've dealt with that before. We all have.
Right.
And, you know, nobody wants to be short $200 for no reason. You know.
Right.
But MTI.
Right. Yeah, it's a good training.
It's a good. The school is great.
Okay.
It's just my situation, being out of state. You would expect them to be a little bit more educated about what they can offer and what the schools can offer before sending somebody out.
Yeah. They dropped the ball on that. That's for sure.
But I mean,
So
I'm up in the air about it. I don't know.
So overall, like, we could talk a little bit about how their program is now. Like, I was asked about the 1 year long contract, and I said they don't have that anymore. So can you kind of remember exactly what it was like as far as what you got paid, what expenses they cover, and all of that?
The one thing that really intrigued me about Millis and Heartland, well, Millis, not Heartland. Heartland uses Millis as a training school. There's no 1 year contract. None. They're not obligated. They don't want you to feel obligated. That's not their motive. You know, they're all about personal relationship with the drivers. You go to the terminal, everybody's super friendly.
Right.
Because everybody's treated evenly. And no one's obligated to stay with the company.
Right.
So it's called the mentorship program. As you're training, once you go on the road to train 50,000 miles for your own truck,
Right.
you're doing live loads. You're moving, you know, money for them. So but at the same time, you're not losing. You're still getting paid the same per mile rate, which is still great. great for starting out. But at the same time,
And what's the CPM?
so they started me at 44.
Okay.
After I think the first quarter, every quarter they give you a cent more, and after the first year, they give you 2 cents.
Okay, so basically, while you're in training, you get 44 cents per mile when you're with the trainer on all miles.
Everything.
So
even if he's driving or I'm driving,
right, and they test you once the school is over. They test you at the actual place you were training at in school. If you pass and get your license before you get on a truck with a trainer, you and your trainer can run quasi-team or full-blown team. If you trust that driver enough to do that, you can do it. So let's say you're making 44 cents a mile and you're a student, and between you and your trainer, you're able to get 4,000 to 6,000 miles a week. You get paid on all those miles. So 44 cents times, I don't know, 5,000 miles in a week, that's what you would make as a student in training. And then after you're done training with your trainer, you get a cent raise every single quarter throughout the year, right? And then after the year is up, so let's say you're at 44, by the end of the year you'd be at 48 cents per mile. And this is with Millis, and then it would be plus 2 on top of that after the first year. So you'd go up to 50 cents a mile after that first year. Okay? And then also what Millis does too is they have a mileage bonus every single week. So if you hit 2,400 miles in a week, you get a 6-cent bonus on top of all the miles you drove for that week. If you hit 3,000 miles in a week, you get a 7-cent bonus on top of all the miles you drove that week. So let's say after a year, you're up to 50 cents a mile. Well, and then you hit between 2,400 and 3,000 miles a week, which you should be able to do that. You're making between 56 and 57 cents a mile every week on all miles, right, that you drove. And they pay deadhead and they pay loaded miles, all miles. And then on top of that, after a year now, I do believe they do allow you to become a trainer. And that's where the real money is when you're with Millis, is if you become a trainer. Okay? Same with Heartland. That's where the real money is if you become a trainer with Heartland. So, I don't know a whole lot about Heartland's pay scale and everything like that. Maybe I'll do a different video. He has all the information written down. But I do know about Millis' straight pay program. That's the straight pay program, right? They do have per diem, and to be honest, I'm not on per diem, so I don't know a whole lot about that. But I will actually do a video later about all their different pay scales, the per diem and the straight pay, and I'll try to get Heartland's pay packages as well, and everything like that. I'm going to start putting more and more content out about Millis and Heartland, and that's it. And like I said, I'm not telling you to go anywhere, but I'm just sharing information. That's all I'm doing. So, as of right now, you're doing good, man. Thanks. You're doing good, and you're going to do better and better. My prediction is by the time he takes his test, he's going to be pretty much ready to go out on his own. But he'll just have to finish the miles, and that's it. So that's it for this video. We appreciate you for watching, and God bless. Have a great day.